Awaken my heart, awaken my soul to tell of all you've done. Awaken my heart, awaken my soul to sing of your great love.
Love Feeds, I'm Carrie Davis.
Love Feeds, I'm Devin Walker.
Today we are really excited. We're going to get our project started. We are here at Auburn United Methodist Center, and this is one of our very first places. We're going to be spending today going around the community of Auburn, Alabama, interviewing different churches and community-focused organizations. We have a list of questions for them, and we're just going to assess awareness for them. If you were given a resource on what to donate, would that help you?
I think it would absolutely help me. Sometimes we just don't exactly know what there's a need for, and like what people want out of, or what people actually need. So I think absolutely would motivate me more also
Awesome.
to give.
How about you?
I think so. I think as someone who works with students, I think student ownership would be really important.
We came up with the project Love Feeds, and we knew we wanted to target community organizations like the food banks, but we also wanted to target the community organizations that were donating the food, and so that all came back to the faith-based organizations of our community. And since Auburn has so many churches and so many faith-based organizations, we thought it would be a great way to just spread the word completely.
How does hunger command a presence in your church and the community that your church is involved with?
Well, I think it's much needed, and I think it's very much a tool not only to feed the natural man, but even the spiritual. But it's much needed.
Does hunger command significant presence in your church?
Well, yes, there are a lot of people who are in need, and a lot of them come to churches because that's really the only place they know to go to when they need help. We have a lot of families who come here, single moms. We have people come here who maybe their houses have burned down, their husbands have left them, they've lost their job, and they probably have lots of wants, but really when you can't feed your children, that's when all your pride just goes out the window and you're willing to walk into a church office and just say, can anyone help me?
I think it was interesting how, difficult it was to really get in there. You walk into this church and it's like, where do I go? Who do I talk to? And people want to say, oh, well, I don't know anything about it. Let me get this guy, or he's not here. You want to email her, that sort of thing. And it was like we had to go through the grapevine so many times we didn't actually get to talk to that many people physically. And I just thought that was interesting.
How has hunger affected you during your time here at Auburn University? Just tell us a little bit about your story.
Hunger, the reason I do what I do, I am the president of the BBAMA Food Drive for this upcoming year. And the reason I do it is because hunger is unfathomable to me. And I think that to an extent, it should be unfathomable to all people. Many times we misinterpret hunger as missing a meal or eating a meal later in the day. But kids go home in our community in Auburn, Alabama without a meal all weekend long. And that's just not right. And living in Alabama, which is, it faces the highest percentage of food insecurity in all the nation, living in a state that has that problem, I think that hunger should be battled here locally.
We basically outlined in a very simple format what is better to donate versus what the food pantries are getting a lot of that they don't need necessarily. And in some cases, like peanut butter, we've outlined 2 different specific brands, and we put the caloric value, the fat and sodium, and just basically put them side by side, and you can see which one is better to donate. So now we're gonna go deliver them to food banks and churches and see what people have to say.
And as I look through this guide to healthy food donation in quality and quantity, it's just come to my attention that if you donate something that's not good for people from your shelves, then it's not good for you either. So So it would behoove us all to look into our shelves and see what we're eating, and then make sure we're eating right so that we can share with others so that they can eat right and be more healthy.
And I think it's a great idea to make the public and the churches and the other institutions aware that we need to start asking and giving more nutritious foods to our community.
The Donate This, Not That Guide is a book that kind of came together. We really wanted to have, it basically tells people what's good products to donate and what we kind of want to stay away from, especially from some of the food banks here in Auburn. We went around and talked to them and kind of found out what they had an overload of, what people struggle with once they get it, things like that. So we compiled it into a booklet and then distributed it. It has options of what you can give, some of the healthy things, and one of the main goals with our project with Love Feeds was to connect obesity and starvation, and how we can both help beat both of those situations.
So I looked at this. I think it's really helpful. Seriously, I do. Just actually like spelling out exactly what it is, because like honestly, I probably would have donated all these things that says don't donate, And I think it's really good to be able to just see exactly what I should donate and what I shouldn't, and why I shouldn't donate them, because it it talks about reasons why it won't work, and I think that's really helpful.
And I think this guide is a very good idea, because a lot of people that don't have an adequate diet tend to eat things that are not as healthy as they really should. So I think a guide that would guide them more toward healthy foods is a good idea.
Auburn University and the Community of 19, especially this Thought for Food Teams Challenge, is very committed to making sure that we branch out outside of Auburn. When we met in some of the places, we talked about getting together and distributing those products to people in Auburn, but then taking them back to our hometown and starting there and kind of grassroots campaign it until we have it across the state of Alabama. And we're not resting until we're able to accomplish that goal.
Well, there weren't a lot of us working on it, and obviously Community of 19 is a larger group, but we had a smaller group just working on this one project. And I think it's a great representation, because we really all just stepped up and said, this is what we're going to do, and we're all going to be committed to it. And so we each had our own part to play in it, and we worked hard, and we're all very equally passionate about fighting hunger. And I think that's the great thing about it, is that we all have the same passion.
Now's the time for us to rise and carry on. Let love shine and show this world mercy is alive.